Alright guys, just a quick disclaimer before the video starts. This video is going to be a little bit slower. I promise that there is spearfishing action in the video. There's, spearfishing clips and stuff in it, but they're going to be farther and fewer between. I just ask that you guys, if you're here for action spearfishing, you maybe want to go check out one of my other videos, but this one is going to be more instructional than my past few videos where it's just compilations and just straight action. This is going to be a little bit slower paced, so just let you guys know. I'll try to make put as much spearfishing in it as I can, but just to let you know, it's going to be a little bit slower. So thank you, and let's get on with the video. Alright guys, so for today's video, I'm going to be going over how to shoot different types of reef fish in Hawaii. So I'm going to be categorizing fish into three groups: predatory fish, herbivores, and then what I like to call like rockfish, so like manpachi, holehole, alaihi, aveoveo, stuff like that. And then for predatory fish, I'm talking like papio, uku, mu, goatfish, those kinds of fish. And then for herbivores, I'm going to be talking about like uhus, kala, and palani, various surgeonfish like manini, that kind of thing. So to start off, I'm going to be going over predatory fish. Oh, also, I'm not going to be going over pelagic fish like ahi, ono, mahi-mahi, stuff like that, because I simply don't know how to shoot them. I've never been able to shoot one of those fish. Hopefully I can in the near future, and then maybe I'll make a video, but as of now I don't know how to shoot those kind of fish, so I can't give information on how to shoot those fish. And so yeah, no pelagics, but predatory fish, herbivores, and rockfish. And then also, just a quick disclaimer, I am by no means an expert in spearfishing. I'm learning just as much as you guys are learning. So if you guys have ways that you think work better than mine, please feel free to let me know, because I'm more than happy to be able to shoot more fish, learn how to shoot more fish more efficiently. So if you guys have ways that work better than mine, or if you think my ways have some mistakes or need critiquing, please feel free to let me know. I will take any criticism, because like I said, I need to learn just as much as you do. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Alright, so for the first type of fish that I'm going to be going over is predatory fish. So like I said, that's going to be like your papios, moos, uku, and goatfish mostly. Those species they hunt and eat other animals, predatory fish. So when going for predatory fish, if I'm looking for predatory fish, or if I see some and I want them to come closer to me, if I ever am in doubt, I always go to the same thing, which is get down to the bottom, stay low, dust, and grunt. So what I mean by dust and grunt is, as you can see in this clip that I'm about to show you of the moo that I shot in a previous video, my overnight challenge. If you guys haven't seen that, you should go check it out. It's on my channel. But so for this moo, once I get down to the bottom, you'll see I'm dusting. And what that is I'm using my hand and I'm patting up the sand on the ground and creating dust clouds in front of me. And what that does is, one, it hides me. It helps to conceal me more, because if you look around, there's not that much structure blocking me from their view. So one thing dusting does is it puts like a little smoke screen between me and my target, my fish that I'm trying to shoot. So that's the first thing it does. The second thing it does is it actually mimics the kind of food that the moo is going for, and a lot of other predatory fish are going for. There's a lot of things that will sift through the sand like that, creating like puffs of dust. And like owama, that's baby goatfish for those of you who don't know, and a lot of predatory fish really like owama. It imitates owama. For mu, they'll be going after like crabs and crustaceans that are in the sand like that. And if you ever seen a mu's mouth, they have these weird teeth that almost look like human teeth. They're like molars. So they're for crushing crustaceans and stuff that live in the sand. And so by dusting, I'm mimicking what it looks like when there's something in the sand, and that's why they'll come in closer, and they'll be looking for whatever's in the sand. So the other thing that I do is I grunt. So what that is I just make this sound in my throat as I'm holding my breath down there. I actually have no idea why this attracts fish. It's a weird sound, and it took me a while to like understand how to even make that sound, but it works usually on predatory fish. Especially, it'll bring fish in. And what it is I describe it as like you make it sound like you're gulping, and then and then you like open up your throat and then make it more focused, I guess. When you're holding your breath, it comes more naturally, so it sounds like it's a little something like. So you see my throat, my Adam's apple moving up and down. That's what it should look like when you're making this noise, and for some reason it brings fish in. So yeah, whenever I'm going after predatory fish, unless I have actually I'll go over that later, but usually when I'm going after predatory fish, I always go down to the bottom, I sit there, and I dust and I grunt, and then usually that brings in fish. I'd say 70 to 80% of the time it works. The fish will either stop swimming away from you, they'll come closer, or yeah, they'll either stop swimming away from you or they'll come closer to you, at least a little bit closer. They won't, maybe not necessarily all the way to you, but they'll start to come closer, because they'll at least, their curiosity will be piqued a little bit. So the only other way I would approach a predatory fish is if your gun is reflective, or if you have something shiny on you, or a teaser, something like that. Then, especially for barracudas, kaku, they really like shiny stuff. Uku sometimes too. Like if you have a spoon on you or something, then I would suggest or if you have a spoon, throw the spoon, like maybe depending on the range of your gun actually, but for me it would be 6 to 10 feet in front of me, and then just take a drop, and then the fish will, like kaku and uku, will follow your spoon, and then or papio too sometimes will follow your spoon, and then you just dive bomb them in a sense towards your spoon, and then they'll be distracted trying to eat this shiny thing, and you just pop them. Or sometimes if they're on the bottom, if you have something shiny once again, and you start dive bombing them, you dive towards them, they'll get curious, at least for a little bit, and they'll turn to face you and swim towards you, because they're curious about what this shiny thing is on you, and then that's your time to shoot them. So that is how I usually shoot predatory fish. Now we're going to be moving on to herbivores. Okay, moving on to herbivores. So when I'm talking herbivores, I'm talking uhu, kala, palani, manini, surgeonfish, stuff like that. And in my opinion, they're a lot easier to shoot than predatory fish. I don't know what it is. With the exception of uhus, I think palanis and a lot of surgeonfish are pretty curious. I don't want to say dumb, but they're very curious fish, as opposed to sometimes uhu can be a little more cautious or scared of you. But even uhu, they're usually pretty brave around people. and they'll come pretty close sometimes. But so for herbivores, I don't think there is really a wrong way to try and shoot them. I've shot herbivores dive bombing. I've shot them on the bottom stalking. I've shot them all kinds of ways. There's no real set way to shoot these fish, but I'd say the one thing you should avoid is dusting, because especially when you're going after uhus, when uhus are scared, I'm sure you've seen this, when they're scared, they'll dart off really fast and they'll shoot sand out their butt. They'll poop sand, and it'll create this spray of sand, and it looks like what it looks like when you're dusting. So, and sometimes this will scare away other uhus or other fish, because they know, hey, if this uhu is afraid, then why should I go closer to this person? Because if the uhu is scared of this thing, why shouldn't I be scared of this thing? So I'd say for uhus, just go down. Stalking usually works. Sometimes you can dive bomb. So I've dive bombed big blue uhus before. Uhus, you can dive bomb them sometimes, and with pilanis especially, you can dive bomb them sometimes. But I'd say usually you should just go down to the bottom, wait a little bit, don't dust. You can grunt. I think that works okay. Not as well. It doesn't work as well as it does with predatory fish, but what you can also do is you can, if there's like loose rocks on the bottom, you can pick up a loose rock and just scrape it on the sea floor. Make sure it's not like coral or anything. You don't want to mess up the coral, but you just take a rock and you just scrape it on the bottom, and it sounds like when uhus and like pilanis and stuff, when their teeth are grinding on the rocks trying to get algae and stuff, or when uhus are breaking down coral, it makes this really loud grinding noise. So if you can imitate that by picking up a rock and just scraping rocks together. Or if there's no rocks around, you can take like the tip of your gun, the spear part, you can just scrape that along the ground. It has a similar effect. Doesn't work as well as with rocks, but it still works. And then that sometimes will work as it brings in herbivore fish. So yeah, no real specific way to shoot herbivores. I don't think they're as smart or as cautious as predatory fish. That's why. So yeah, I'll just show a few different examples of what it looks like shooting herbivores, and then you guys can just, whatever works for you guys, whatever's easiest for you, I'd say that's what you should go with. So if you don't have the greatest bottom time, and you're hunting herbivores, just dive bomb. And then if you have the patience and you have the bottom time, yeah, I'd say stalk, because then you can more or less, you can pick and choose which fish you want. If there's many of them and you're on the bottom, and you just wait, you can wait for the best shot. Whereas dive bombing, you only have a split-second opportunity. You only have one shot, and it's hard to tell when it's gonna come. It's hard to tell when you're at that distance where you'll hit your shot, because and when you have to do it before the fish takes off. So I'd say if you can hold your breath long enough, get down to the bottom and stalk your fish. But by all means, dive bombing works as well. It's just that it might not work as much, but definitely if you don't have enough bottom time, you can still get these fish just by dive bombing. So I'll just show a few clips of the different ways that I've shot herbivores, and then we'll move on to rockfish.